Major podcast announcement. We gotta talk about this, but before we get into it, hello! Guys, this microphone is not working. It's from Marshall's. Hey girl, I'm just trying to see more podcasts appropriate. Hi guys, welcome. Look, mess. I'm telling you, a fucking mess. How are you? I am so grateful and thankful to be here with you guys. Happy June 1st. As promised, I have a major podcast announcement. So, I first wanted to say your excitement for my podcast means the world to me. I have dreamt about this moment for a very long time. This is something that I've known I wanted to do, but I just had to figure out a way to do it. And I have some information for you about my podcast and some tea. Because behind the scenes is behind the scenesing, okay? So first off, the announcement was a week ago, a couple weeks ago, and you guys were so incredibly just so generous with your support. So thank you all so much. I have been doing everything by myself, of course. I wanted to be fully transparent, and that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. I looked up, when I first initially got this idea that I wanted to do, this was months ago. I want to say around Halloween time that I kind of started talking to my husband about this. And like, for real, we've talked about this so many times before, but in October, that's when I said I'm gonna do this. So anyways, things were supposed to happen around January, but the fires happened, and that kind of just derailed everything, my mental health and all of these things. I started therapy. Well, you guys know all of that from being, we had to evacuate and everything. So it got pushed. And so I reached out to some studios to film the podcast there. But it was insanely expensive, and I just could not afford it. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to bring you guys the most professional, clean, wonderful podcast that you guys deserve. And so I started being in my head a lot about it. And I started to tell my husband, like, I can't afford a studio. I don't know what to do. Also looked into professional cameras. Couldn't afford those either. And I was like, well, I just don't think I can do this podcast. And so after, a while of going back and forth with myself, I started to think about how I started YouTube. I didn't have a camera. I didn't have a microphone. I didn't have lighting. I didn't have any of that. I had a very crappy phone, and I just started, I just started, and I would use sunlight and, just kind of do that until my mom sent me $100, and then I bought the wrong camera. I bought this like fish camera that made me look super skinny and everything super big around me, and it was just a whole mess. But so with that being said, I was like, well, maybe I don't need all of this. At the end of the day, a podcast is supposed to be a hangout session. Do you know what I mean? It's just a hangout session. So I was okay with how I was going to manage it. And then came the setting. Okay, I'm going to do a different type of idea that it's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. As I was preparing that and, doing like, I did like vision, like not vision boards, but the thing where you like kind of, what I'm talking about. So I was putting pictures together and kind of like saying, okay, what is realistic thing that I could do? Because realistically, I could do one thing, but like, vision wise, I want to do it all. But I'm like, okay, step by step, girl. So had an initial idea that I absolutely loved, and it was the idea. I made the podcast announcement. I had ordered a bunch of stuff, and lo and behold, Amazon fucked up. I don't know what happened. Packages never arrived. So back to square one. And my initial idea was to put out my podcast today, June 1st. But like always, I'm a mess. Packages missing. Then the idea that I initially had, I didn't like it anymore. So I scrapped that last minute, which was like a week and a half ago. That's when, or 2 weeks ago, that's when I had ordered the things for that idea. Anyways, so now I'm like building a new set in my living room. And I have been going all over the place to find the right decorations within my budget, right? Within what I could afford. That's the thing. Like, I want to give you guys the world, but I have to be realistic, right? So I'm going to give you guys the best of the best that I could give you. So I'm very excited about how things are now falling into place. I think that everything happens for a reason. Packages missing, ideas being revamped. Everything is sort of just being revamped. And I have finally come to a wonderful, magical set for the podcast. It is going to be in my living room. So of course, it had to be something that I could pack and put, you know? So my podcast will be live on June 15. It's the first episode. June 15. I am very excited, yet very nervous, because I feel like this is a side of me that you guys have definitely seen, because I'm very much myself. But I have also many opinions about many things. So I'm very excited to be able to do that with you guys. I also had to, okay, this is done, June 15, done. Something else, hang on. All right, so now that I got that out of the way, these are important notes for my podcast. It will be one episode every single Sunday, okay? Every single Sunday, my episode will drop, all right? You're going to have video format. You're going to have audio format, okay? Whew. Now, I'm going to have segments in my podcast, okay? There's going to be a question that I'm going to get from one of you guys, and it could be whatever type of question that I will answer. There's also going to be call-ins, okay, where I'm going to take a call from one of you guys, all right? It's going to be via Zoom, okay? And it's going to be really cool. It's basically a call where we can talk. You guys can ask me a question, and I get to talk to you guys, which is the most exciting thing. So we have question of the day written, we have a call, and we also have a snack of the week, where I'm going to choose a snack that I love the most, because I always tell you guys to grab your snacks and your drinks. So I'm going to have a snack of the week, review it, this and that. You could also tell me what kind of snacks you guys suggest. Every Monday, I'm going to post in my community tab who wants to enter for me to call and what questions you might have. And I'm going to choose one person and one person, okay? So it is going to be not only about the topic, I'm going to have a lot of interaction with you guys. And the question could be anonymous, but the phone call, of course, people are going to be able to hear you. So, and it will be recorded. So you just keep that in mind. The snack of the day is going to be great. But one thing I'm most excited about, I think it's one of the most exciting things, is I'm finally, okay, hang on. So one thing I'm very excited about is my podcast is not going to be fully pop culture. it's going to be a mix of everything in Sebastian's world, right? And it's going to be story times, it's going to be hot topics, it's going to be interactions with guests, it's going to be, I'm gonna have my husband, I'm gonna have just a lot of things that you guys have requested over the years. So a lot of the things of, you know, how I met my husband, or embarrassing videos and pictures and old videos, I'm going to bring everything to you guys and just serve it in an all-you-can-eat buffet. So it is going to be amazing. June 15, my podcast will go live. It's going to be every single Sunday. And the reason I chose Sundays is because I always talk about Sunday blues. I always talk about how sometimes a lot of us get anxieties on Sundays. So I thought, bring it out on Sunday so, you know, you could keep everyone company if they're cleaning, if they're just laying, or they're feeling alone, or they're having anxiety. Here's the hour plus podcast for them. So I'm very excited. I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to have this. And I did want to just finish this by saying that I wish I could give you guys the world. I really do. I wish I could give you guys the most professional thing in the world. I wish I could give you guys the best microphone, the best camera, the best lighting, the best sound, the best of the best of the best of the best. I'm going to give you guys the best I can, okay? And with God's blessing, I'm sure it's going to continue, you know, grow, and it's going to be more and more and more professional. So just know I'm giving you guys 100% of me and everything that I can give. And little by little, we'll start building maybe a prettier set and maybe an actual camera and lighting and this and that. But for now, I'm doing the very best I can, and I'm very grateful and I'm very excited. So stay tuned, and I just know this month is going to be very blessed, and I'm very excited to talk to you guys, to answer your questions, to eat some really nice snacks from all over the world, and to give you guys the best of the best of the best. Everything that's in here is going to come out there. So I love you all. I can't wait, and I'll see you guys on June 15th. Mwah. Bye.